Action. Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night, depending on time zone and when you're watching this particular video. All right. So, today we have a box named School. So you can come to Vulnhub and then you search school, and then you're able to find difficulty, easy, and then let's just get straight into it. So first things first, you would want to discover all the hosts that are live on your network. So remember, as I did show us in the last video, I would use sudo appscan -l, and then there's another way which is slower but most assured. If you did not see it, please go over to the previous video and watch it. So like I said also in the other video, we have local administer 10023 and then 10210. This should be familiar with you if you've done this a number of times. All right, so that's not what we're looking for. So we're going to nmap into this particular box 10210, and then let's see what it gives us. All right, so you have to be patient and wait for it to go through. Great. So mmap scan is done, and then we have port 22 SSH, port 23, and port 80. From what I can see, just three ports open. Remember, port 22, if there are no credentials they are shared or something you can guess with, then there's no point trying it. Port 23 telnet is open, which is great. And then we have port 80. Port 80 tells us that there is an Apache server found somewhere. And then the requested resource was login.php. This just tells us if we go, excuse me, if we paste the IP address on our browser, it should not, the permit me to say the landing page should be a login page. So let's do that. 10.0 to 10, copy selection, and then come here, and then let's paste this. So you see, let's see, let me increase this. Okay, sorry, that's already big enough. All right, so we see this, there's no way to guess passwords. All right, so just let it be. So now I'm going to come down here and then 23 telnets 22 23. Okay, 23 says TCP wrapped, sorry. So but when I ran the box before, it showed the telnets there. So it's actually open, but it's trying to not reveal the information. Something is trying to block the information from coming up. But 23 is actually telnets. All right, so let's assume that it actually did show us telnets. I would then come here. Let's expand this, and then let's do telnets. The reason I'm doing this is just so that we can, in case we find a box where telnet is actually open, because from here, if it's actually showed us what's it called, TCP route, then there's really no point trying to do it. But telnets, the way you connect to telnet is telnet, IP address, and port. So 10.2.10, and then my favorite port is port 444. So connection refused. You can choose to use your um what's it called now, your attacker IP address, but you're not supposed to actually. So refused as well. I just use both IP addresses so that you know that it's actually connection refused. There's no point doing that since it shows TCP wraps. Yeah, you'd have to go deeper than this for you to get information from this port that is open. So having said that, we're going to come down to port 80, and then we see this. So if we come back to our web browser, we see that there's a directory called login.php. But however, this directory, there's another directory here. So permissions call it a subdirectory. People would like to call it a page. So we see that 10.0 to 10 automatically redirects us to this place. All right, so and then we see that it has login.php. So the first thing we want to do, since there's actually not much information given to us, is we would want to force this. So I'll use a tool called Dub, one of my most favorite tools right now. 10.0 to 10, which is our IP address. All right, so while I want this to run, then you see what I want to show you. Right, so see, this is running really fast. At least it's trying to run really fast. So we have 20,458 files inside the particular word list. So you see, done, downloaded one, found one. And what's that one? You found server status. You can just copy this, come back here, and let's paste this in a new tab. Paste and go. Great. So you see forbidden. You can choose to view page source and you see that you don't have permission to access this resource. No problem. So let's go back. Now, haven't done that. I'll do this in this tab so that we can compare the codes. Let me permit me to say codes or command. We write codes, a programmer, so usually um, so permit me to say codes, but it's actually commands. All right, so 10.02.10, and then I'm going to go over to my browser and I'm going to copy this. Now, the reason I'm copying this is because this forward slash, there are certain applications that are built and then they use hyphen to read to show subdirectories, or they use forward slash to show subdirectories. Now, this one actually gave us a lot of information. Where is this nmap? Um, where is it? Login was found. Okay, so let's come to this. So we see it actually gave us the, what's it called now? Where is it? Um, forward slash server status, and also it actually from here again, if you come back to the browser, you see forward slash login. And then even if you pay, if you so okay, so this is how it is the same thing. I don't know, it's not, it's just not looking pretty right now. So it's the same thing. All right, so we're going to copy this one here. Okay, we can choose to copy everything just to be safe. We don't need to copy the IP address though, it's already there. So just copy this and let's come back to our terminal and then okay, so here I will paste this. So forward slash student attendance. I don't need login.php. The reason I'm removing login.php is because there's nothing to force inside login.php. Login.php is there. You know that excuse me, it's just there. There's actually nothing. If you go further than that, it's giving you access to the database or a portal or something, but it's not going to give you any information in quotes per se. There's no directory inside login.php, right? Except if it's a scam and they're trying to hide something from us. But if they were trying to hide something from us, it will not redirect to a login portal, all right? Hope that's clear enough. So I'm now going to do this and then so look at the IP in sorry, look at the commands. Look at you can compare them both and then I would hit enter. Then it begins to generate word list for me. So you see it's already generating and is so there are different directory busting tools. There's Dub Buster, there is for FOF, there's Go Buster. My go-to is I usually Dub and for FFUF, we stand for First Faster You Full. All right, so I would usually by default get towards those two. The difference between the two, they have obviously unique like they have their uniqueness. They're unique in one way or the other, but their major difference for me is that this guy tries to go into the so you see scanning the URL that I provided to it, then he found a directory one and found a directory two. He decided to enter into the directory and enter into the directory. For Paul, will just give it to you and tell you that's your business. If you want to enter into it, that's fine, but I'm not doing that for you. All right. So this guy tried to enter into it. It's just that it's saying directory is listable. There's no need to scan it. However, if you still want to scan it, use dash W. All right, so we will not do that. So let's first of all come to the first directory that was found rather assets. Copy link. Let's come down here. We can use here since it's forbidden. Paste and go. All right, so we have information given to us, information disclosure, permit me to say. You can choose to go through all of these links and then find whatever it is you want to find. Or I'll tell you beforehand so that you do not waste your time. You can choose to follow the trail and just enjoy it, but I'll tell you beforehand, this would not lead you anywhere. This is a dead end. There's actually nothing in this place. So let's come back and then find the other directory, which is attendance database, copy link address. Permit me to override this particular one since there's nothing here. Great. So if you go through parent directory, it brings you back to the login. So let's now go to students attendance db underscore. So enumeration is usually everything. Enumeration is always you would continue to enumerate, continue to enumerate. Enumeration usually before I used to all this enumeration is like 50%. Looks like enumeration, I can say enumeration is like 80%. Because if you gather so much information, assuming you're going to war, and then you know the in and out of your enemy, all you need to do is ensure you go in with solid weapons. You know how to take them down. That's all you just need to do. Then you've done most of the work, or you now need to trust your skills to get you safely in and out. All right, so that's the same thing with enumeration. That's actually enumeration reconnaissance. So let's now, this is a PHP file. All right, so we saw the extension. We saw the extension os.sql. All right, so phpMyAdmin SQL dump. This is a file. Usually, this would not do anything. So anything you find here, you can only use that information. Okay, let's go through it and see how well we can use the information. So, uh, at database student attendance DB, there's a structure for attendance list. We don't need attendance list. There's really nothing we want to do with attendance list. So ID, class, subject. I'll just, for sake of time, scroll down, and then you can, if you are following through, you can actually slow down and look at it. All right. So from faculty, it becomes interesting because I'm seeing an ID, a name. Well, I really don't. Okay, students. Students is looking interesting as well. Um, but that's not what I'm looking for. So I'll come down to users. Great. So users has an ID, a name, a username, a password. An ID is one, a name is administrator, username is admin, a password is this. There's a hash here. All right. So you can choose to use hash cards. You can use John the Reaper. You can choose to use multiple hash password cracking tools. But I prefer the web. I'm going to say the web version of them, which is CrackStation. So I'll copy this. So I remember the username. Okay, copy this username is admin. I'll copy this and then let's try to crack into it. So don't worry about what I'm doing. I just need to do this for a reason. So okay, it's open here. So I'll just paste this in here. I'm not a robot, and then admin 123. Great. Admin 123. You can choose to copy this. Now, the other password you saw that was here before, let's go back to where we came from, is this other hash here. You can choose to copy it and then do the same thing. All right, so let's remember we have admin 123 and then great. So you see this, they are both MD5. Both of them are MD5 crack station, very powerful cracking tool. Also cracking two. All right, so I'm going to go with admin one to is the easiest to keep in my head. So remember we had a login I'm going to say a login portal or a login page, whichever you want to call it. So admin will be our username and then admin 123. And then great, we have access in here. All right. So also another thing okay, since let's try to come here 10 0 to 10. Let's just erase all of this. Okay, and then let's log out. Great. So another thing you may want to come and do is to try SQL injection, just SQL, just try something, uh, and explore anything just to try and get something. So I'm just going to show you that this is also vulnerable to SQL injection. So I'll just go, um, really ensure that Google is actually your friend. The idea is you know what you're doing, but your head is not supposed to be a server that holds all the information. So Google helps you to do that already. You just need to have access to all of those things. So I'm going to come here, I'm going to search SQLi payload. SQLi payload GitHub. Right, and I'm using GitHub because permits me to say it's should I say it's easier to find what you're looking for here. SQLi, okay. So SQLi payloads, we're already there. Great. So we have SQL injection payloads. I'll just go down. These are generic SQL injection payloads. So let's use one here. Copy. All right, so let's use one. Just copy that one, and then we are back here. And where were we? Okay, so let's paste this, and then whatever random password you want to use, just something, and then you see this is vulnerable to SQL injection as well. Great. So uh, you may want to come and then just look through and look through and look through and look through and look through, just feel free to enjoy yourself. These are users, the two users that are on the system, both of them are admin and the other is an alumni. alumna. All right. So I will just come and do a view page source. View page source is also a very beautiful place to find information. So I have a link here, or um, what's it called? A comment rather. And then it says from index, there's a H, right? There's a link where it's commented out. So index.php, this to settings. Great. So let's copy this. Then you can choose to close this if you want. So, all right. So index.php, I'll do it here. Index.php. I think I copied index.php already. So I'll just from here. So let me do this from the back. Index.php. Great. So then I'll paste what I have here. And then let's see where this leads us to. Great. This leads us to system name, Ado, email, contacts. You're seeing a PHP shell. I wrote this, all right, when I came here. I wrote this PHP shell. That's because you're trying to upload something. You're trying to upload something. Usually, it's supposed to, they didn't tell us what you could upload. Actually, okay, an image. It's supposed to be an image. But because there is no validation to ensure that it's a JPEG file that has been uploaded, even if it's a JPEG file, I think there are multiple ways that you can manipulate all of those, but there's no check per se to ensure that all you need to upload is, well, all you can upload is a JPEG or PNG now. Yes, PNG file. You can just upload anything. All right. So let's try. I have an exploit around hanging around. So you see PHP reverse shell. You can see one that has a .jpg, but let's go with the one that has reverse shell. All right. So we see it inside here. Page three reverse shell. Oh, sorry. Yes, page three reverse shell. That's it here. And then I just put a name for whatever about content, the content you're trying to upload or whatever it is that you're asking for. I think about a content you want to upload, just a page three shell, just so that you have something there. Now, before I hit run, I would open another terminal. I would make this really big. All right. And then I am going to start, like I said, 444 is usually my most beautiful port. All right, so now that I have a listener on, I'm just going to save. Great, data saved successfully. A proof, one major proof that your exploit worked or your payload worked is that you see this thing continue bouncing, it will never load. All right, that's a proof. It gives you that something is happening. Then you can come to your terminal and then you see, great, you have a shell already. Can't access TTY job control tunnel. If you do ls, it's giving you everything, but I really enjoy something looking really, really pretty. So this is the stuff we downloaded. I have a TTY shell hidden somewhere. I'll just copy in this at the top. Usually, when you copy it from, if you type spinning or spawning a TTY shell, you see Python. Yes, Python spawning a TTY shell. It's usually a bin/sh. I just added a bash because all I want is a bash shell. All right. So if you come down here, okay, so let's paste this TTY shell and then you see the difference now. So ls, see, this gives you some form of beauty. It's not so beautiful, but at least it gives you some form of beauty. Yeah. At least we now know that great, we have a shell. All right. So we can choose to do, let's do cd into roots. Okay, since there's roots. Okay, so it goes in. We would have tried to say we are roots. Since there's a file, let's try to cut proof.txt, excuse me, permission denied. So which means there's needs to be privilege escalation. Now you see this win here. Win is actually wine. If you check through, if you go through all of this, everything here, you see a dot wine. Wine is a Windows application, Windows software that allows you to run Windows programs on non-Windows environments. For example, Linux. If not, what is a Win doing on a Linux machine? All right, so let's go back a bit. Let's do cd home. Yeah, let's see what's there for us. Okay, there's nothing there for us. So let's do coming. So let's do cd into var ls. So dub. Uh, okay, sorry. Cd into dub. ls html. Oh, okay. cd into ls cd var. All right, so let's go back a bit. cd var ls. So let's go into tmp and then ls. Okay. Okay. So cd var tmp. Let's go back a bit. Let me clear. Okay, clear. Okay, theme environment not set. All right, sorry about that. cd dot dots. Let's go back to the beginning. cd list of media. Okay, so let's do cd temp. I'm going to come back to the var ls. Good. So cd var ls. There should be cd dot. Okay, cd html. Okay, great. So this is what I was looking for all the while. All right. So index.php. Since it's a .php, you can actually cut that. Index.php. All right. So it's telling you the location attendance not file. Okay, great. So let's student attendance. This feels like a directory. So I'll just copy this and paste. Okay, great. Oh, great. So we see we have some more information. We can choose to do users.php, blah, 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 blah. Database. Let's see. What is there a need to go into database? I don't think there is a need to go into database. Well, you can choose to go into database. The reason is because we already have database information. But let's cut DB connect. This is looking like something I would want to connect to. That's PHP. Okay, uh so just for the sake of curiosity, let's do CD database. No such directory. So which means it's a file. Okay, it actually works. LS students attendance database. Yeah, so you see we are back to what we downloaded in the first place. That document, the file we downloaded. This is the same thing. So I'll just do cd dot again. So we are back into attendance. Yeah, so we are doing cat db underscore connect dot php. All right. So connection for new connection is localhost fox, then the password. All right. So I'm going to do my SQL, which is, and then I'll put username of fox. I'll put username of fox, and then you can choose to leave out the password, and then it will still ask you for your password, obviously. So let's copy this and then let's paste this. Great. So you can need to show databases. Okay. Show show databases. Okay, great. So you can choose to, okay, let's do use MySQL. MySQL database changed. So show tables. Great. So you can choose to come here, enter into all of them. If you don't know about SQL, go check out SQL commands, just basic SQL commands that can use to access tables and all of that. So I'm going to pull a stop here, and then I'm going to reopen this now. I want us to see something. The reason I put a stop here is because there's actually nothing here. It's the same thing we have. We go to users, the same thing, go to connect, go to event function. There's actually nothing interesting inside of here. All right. So I'm going to queue this. Great. So okay, I think we can still use this tab. Well, okay. So let's do this. It's still listening. We can come and then great. So it's still here. We have this. So where's our TTY shell? Okay, sorry. So we'll paste this here, and then yeah, we have something pretty. Now, The next, okay, I think I should have done this in a, yeah, I think I'll just, let me just close this and let me do this in another, let me see if this is beautiful enough. Yeah, it's not. Okay, it's quite spacious. So let me see if we can still use this. If it's possible to use this. Okay, great. It's possible to use it. So, for forgive me, this is not looking beautiful at all. Okay. Oh, so it's picking up. All right, great. It is picking up. All right, so I wanted to see something. Usually, when you come to do privilege escalation, there are multiple ways for you to do privilege escalation. We have a user, we've hacked into a user's account. Now, I want to elevate our privilege. It's actually called privilege escalation. This is the first time I'm introducing you guys to privilege escalation. Um, I will not go to the extreme. All right, but here there are multiple ways of getting privilege escalation. You can just privilege escalation. You can actually just type out privilege escalation on your in your browser, and you see multiple ways. Can you do a privilege escalation one-liner? You can use a tool. You can use whatever you want to use. All right. So I'm going to show you one particular tool I use. On yes. So let's do. I'll need to change my account, my user account. That's everything. All right, so CD into home. If you can see, I have a transfers folder hanging here. So I'll CD into transfers. The reason I am, oh, I'm sorry. I hope this is not too tiny. I apologize. All right, so the reason I'm doing a CD into transfer, um, let me clear this so that it can be, yes. You don't really see it into transfer because you're about to host a web server. And then if I do ls, you see limpies, you see pspy, you see wimpies, you see wise.exe. Wise.exe, any, obviously, you know .exe, which means it's a Windows machine. Yeah, it's for Windows. Limpies.xh is for Linux, basically, into Linux machines. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to seal into them into temp files. All right, so you can do ls to say that there's nothing here. We're going to host a web server here. The reason we are hosting this is because we want to transfer something into this other machine, the victim machine. Usually there's a web server. You have to connect to the web server to get something downloaded to your system. That's the same way it works. All right, so I'm going to host a Python web server, a local web server, permit me to say now. So this is hosted and is waiting. So how do we get something? Usually, now this is not doesn't only work when you want to get something from an attacker's machine. If you want to actually download a particular tool or download something and you don't want to go out to the web, you want to do it from your terminal, you can actually use the same command, use wget for people that love terminal much more than CLI. And yes, much more than GUI, I would say, forgive me. HTTP column forward slash using HTTP and not HTTPS, you will understand that it's because it's a local host is locally hosted 10.02 wget HTTP to my IP address, my Kali IP address. All right, and then the file I want to limpis.sh, which is this file over here, limpis.sh. So I would hit enter. You see, it responded. Limpis get limpis.sh. So if we come here and do ls, you see that there's limpis.sh. Now, for you to actually run this particular script, limpis.sh, you have to change the permission. You have to change the mode. All right, in as much as here it may actually we actually see that the mode is also not changed in this place here. If it was changed, the color would have changed. But here, even if we change the mode, the color doesn't exactly change. So let's do something like, so you have to change, if you want to change mode, you do ch mode plus x. What you're saying by plus x is the same thing as saying 777. So if you understand Linux, how it go file permission, 777 is the same thing as plus x. All right, so I usually use plus x, chmod plus x, then I'll just type the name of the file I want to change. I want to give explicit permission rather. So, excuse me. So if you do an ls, you see that it's the same thing. There's actually nothing there. There's no color change per se. But if you begin to run linpeas.sh, you see, so it begins to run. This begins to run. So let me from here. Okay, let me just drag these to the extreme so that this can have some room to run. So we can see it's pulling in files. it's going through the victim machine, pulling out every information we need, and it's done. Great. So you can just begin to go through all of this. This is a lot of information. I think I saw a dot wine here. So you see a dot wine, dot wine, dot wine, dot wine, dot wine, dot profile. The reason why you're seeing a dot before in quotes a file name is because those are hidden directories. So in Linux, directories can be named dots. Yeah, directories can be named dots, and then they are hidden directories. You do not have access to them. Only the root, exactly something like this. Only the root user has access to this dots and dot dots is also a directory. All right. So the same way we go cd dots, we are going back one directory. So remember when I did something like cd dots. All right. So let's see what's inside here. So let's go cd go. Good. So you're into a bin. So if I do cd dots, I'm going back one directory. All right. So let that not confuse you. So we have a wine. Remember, I said wine allows you to run Windows in a non-window environment. Now I'm not going to waste time. See all of those things, attendance, those things we saw. Yeah. So, for example, let's say for instance, you actually came in through the part of SQL injection, then you would now be seeing this for the first time. But because you've gone through all of these var doc HTMLs and attendance, you already know all of these things. So I'm not going to waste too much time here. I'm just going to tell you um, something here, and then we're going to end the video at this particular point. If I can scroll up to the top. Great. So remember, this is where we are, and then this is where we run limpics.sh around this point. So you see the turtle. The face is not complete. It's a turtle, a beautiful turtle. So do you like peace? Get the latest version, blah 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 blah. Now it tells us red and yellow. 95% of the time it's a privilege escalation vector. Red, you should check it. The reason I'm going to end this video here is because it's actually a basic video. It's not going advanced, not because I cannot go advanced, all right, but I do not want to go advanced because it's a basic video. If you are going on from here, this particular privilege escalation tool, this script doesn't give you anything here. It gives you a number of things, but they are not really useful. You're free to go through them and look at them, but it doesn't give you anything useful. From here, what we are going to, it's into exploit development. You are going to have to go through immunity debugger, exploit development, writing exploits, and all of that. Right? So that would confuse you. I want to take it step by step along the way. So at this point, I'm going to put a pause here and I'm going to say if you did enjoy the video, do like, share, subscribe. Leave a comment. If you have any questions, also leave it in the comment. I'll be sure to respond to every comment and every question that is there. Once and again, like, share, subscribe, do all of those things you guys do. And then I'll see you next time. Peace.